Hey there, how's it going? My name is David. You're watching Kai City LC. Welcome back to the channel. I realized it's been about nearly 4 months since my last video. Apologies. I've not really been doing a lot of RC lately, and what I have done, I didn't think merited a video, so hence the radio silence for the last few months on this channel. Anyway, this past weekend, I was doing something that's noteworthy, racing in the four-wheel drive vintage cup held at Carnosa RC Park. I'll put links to round one earlier this year in the video description below. Just a brief recap. It's a vintage four-wheel drive vintage cup. It's open to machines that are pre-2000. There were two classes, class 1, class 2. So for class 1, it's pretty much anything on the Hotshot and Thundershot chassis, plus the Dogfighter and the Wonder Dogfighter. So I want to say budget machines, but the Dogfighter is not a budget machine. Things that don't have a slipper clutch, predominantly plastic, and would struggle the most on an indoor carpet track. That's class 1. Motor for that class is a 540 silver can. For class 2, it's pretty much everything from Kyosho on their legendary series four-wheel drive, plus lasers if you happen to have one. Things like the Super Dogfighter, the Works 91, Schumacher Cat 2000, RC10 four-wheel drive, Avanti Egress, VQS, and because the chassis are very, very capable, particularly when it comes to indoor carpet, the Top Force and the Manta Ray also in class 2. The regulations for that are 17.5 turn, brushless, blinky, no boost, turbo timing or anything like that. So I ran a big rig and the Turbo Optima Mid Special in round 1, class 1 and 2. Video again in the description below. For round 2, they changed the regulations slightly, so it became apparent that the rear motor mount Kyosho legendary series four-wheel drive machines, so things like the Optima, the Optima Pro, the Javelin and the Turbo Optima, really were at a big disadvantage for indoor carpet, having the motor at the rear. And so it was decided that for round 2, the second round, they would be eligible to run it in class 1. And so I decided not to run the big rig and instead pulled the Optima carpet spec, race spec racer. I built this up on the channel a couple of years ago. Again, video in the description below. I last raced this, I think it was 2024, a couple of years ago now. Since then, I've used it occasionally. I've done a few changes to the setup, but nothing substantial. I figured I'd run this in class 1 and once again run the Turbo Optima Mid Special in class 2. So how did I get on? Well, class 1, I hadn't planned on doing any changes to this. So it was pretty much, the base spec was pretty much as you last saw it when I last raced it. I was still using the Kyosho dampers, the gunmetal versions of these. And it was pretty much set up for the 1985 class at the Yokomo Off-Road Festival. I took this down about, 3 or 4 days before the race just to give it a test to see how well it would do. And by chance, a lot of the other people who were planning to participate in round 2 class 1 with their machines happened to be there, so several people running Javelins, Optimas, etc. And it became apparent that as it stood, my machine was, although it's got a ton of Kyosho option parts on it, its Achilles heel was the stock dampers. There's just no real way to get the car low down. It would traction roll if I pushed it too much in the corners. It tended to waddle around. Unfortunately, the stock dampers, while you can get the rear end low enough, the front end is always problematic. The only real option with the stock, I was using the Works shock stay, slightly taller than the stock one. But the only real option is either to put internal limiters in and limit the throw, or use the Works shock tower, which is slightly taller, and then keep the lower point mounted onto the front upright. That gets you lower down, but it also kind of removes any droop whatsoever. So it's not ideal, particularly if you're going to get some, well, big air time, but if you're going to jump, not having any droop at the front tends to cause the front end to crash down hard on landings. My other issue was motor cooling. So in order to be competitive with a 540, you've got to really gear it up. And after 4 or 5 minutes, my silver cam was pretty hot, smoking hot. So I had 2 issues that I needed to solve. So I ended up biting the bullet, as it were, and ordering EXO design shock towers, front and rear. I tend to be, when it comes to vintage racing, I tend to try and be a purist in that when I do modifications, I want to try and keep them period correct if I can. And I don't really like to go the route of big bores. Of course, anybody that's watching my channel for a while would be like, wait a minute, David, you've got a top force that's got big bores and a few other machines. That's true, but certainly with Kyosho, I just try to keep it on brand and period specific if I can. So this has got quite a few option parts fitted, but they're all Kyosho branded option parts. So I was really reluctant to go the big bore route, but it was just, the only way I could quickly get the handling how I wanted it. I'd already got these VVC triple caps dampers. I actually picked these up probably 3 years ago when I first got the Dirtmaster. Planned to fit them to the Dirtmaster, but the Dirtmaster's stock shocks are pretty good for what they are, so I didn't bother. And then later I planned to put them on the Dirt Cross, and likewise I didn't bother with that. So I had these lying around. I just needed suitable towers. So once again, these are EXO design. The quality is very good. I've used their products several times before. They are slightly thicker than the stock tower, so you do need to kind of cut the body to allow for this thickness and also big bore shocks. So the actual towers came the day before the race in the morning, and I hastily put the shocks and the towers together, and also at the same time fitted a extra speed rear motor guard that has a integrated 30mm fan mount to try and keep the temps in order. And I was really pushed for time the day before, so I just had a couple of hours window to get down to the track and do a quick test run with this. I didn't really want to turn up on race day having put new dampers and big bore shocks front and rear, and made several setup changes, significant setup changes, and be completely untested. The race format is such that you don't have really any time to wrench on your car. It's basically race, marshal, race, marshal, race, marshal, especially if you're in both classes like I was. So it was like, if I got the setup wrong, then I'd have no real chance to fix it. So I went down the day before, did a couple of quick sessions with it, seemed to be driving really well. So I was like, great, sorted, all good to go. And then turned up the following day, and heat 1 of qualifying. After a couple of minutes, I noticed the front end is like bouncing around like it's on pogo sticks. And I'm like, what's going off here? And my first thought was I'd lost all the oil out one of the shocks, or both of the shocks, or something like that. It's got 500 weight oil in. It was one of these cases where I go back to the pit, put the car down and go straight out of Marshall, then come back. And so I really didn't have a chance to look at it. I knew there was something wrong with the shocks, but it wasn't until the race was over and I came back home afterwards and started to look at the shocks and basically tore them down and discovered that the E-clip on one of the shocks wasn't seated into the groove, and so it come loose. So basically I got one shock plus damper, and the other one was basically just a spring. So hence I was struggling with the handling. But nevertheless, the car drove really well. It's hard to understate how different it is fitting modern day shocks and dampers and modern day components to a vintage machine, particularly indoor carpet use. It really does transform the handling, but is it still vintage? I don't know, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I did pretty well. So class 1, I came third, chuffed with that. I won last time with the big rig, so I was really pleased to come third with this. I need to get the suspension dialed in a bit better and make a few alterations, but I plan to run this in round 3. as it is. For class 2, my Turbo Optima Mid Special, I haven't touched it since round 1. I literally, I came back, checked it over, put it on the shelf, and then for the race yesterday, I just picked it up off the shelf and I took it down. I have done nothing to it, but it performed really well. Can't fault it. It drives, even with these, you know, stock small bore dampers, it does reasonably well on the track. It could do with some better suspension tuning, but it handles reasonably well. So I did pretty well with that as well. But yeah, that's it. Aside from that, I've not done much. I did pick up I told myself no more RC10s, but I did pick up an RC10 FT. I built it up. I haven't run it yet though. That was probably over a month ago. I just haven't had a chance to run it. So at some point I want to take that down to the track and do a shakedown run with the FT. No plans to pick up any kits anytime soon, with the exception of whatever is next in the Legendary Series line. I do have, if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, you'll know I do have the Tomahawk 85 spec, so I do have all of the world spec Kyosho Legendary Series, the Ultima, the Optima Mid, and the Tomahawk. I've not built any of them. Somebody asked me why I haven't built them. Mainly just because I cannot get the paint match I want with Tamiya spray cans. I just can't do it. I don't have an airbrush, and I don't have the time or the inclination to start buying an airbrush and experimenting to try and get a paint match. So at some point I may pay somebody to do the bodies for me and then paint them up, but I'm not in any hurry to put them together. My next big race will be the end of next month. It's the Yokomo Challenge Cup being held at Carnosa. I participated last year with top 4s in the vintage class. Again, links in the description below if you want to check that out. I'm going to be participating again this year. I'm not sure if I'll run the top 4s. I may run the Toms. It's kind of a toss-up at the moment. I'm also going to run in the 21.5 turn four-wheel drive class. Decided to pull my Yokomo YZ4 SF2 out of retirement and threw some electronics in it. So that has had a new lease of life, and I'm going to be running that for that race. So stay tuned for videos on that. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Surface,